Hello. Welcome to the stream today. Doing something a little bit different today. Oh yeah, by the way. Hi, I am Vitruvian Jay, homunculus VTuber, crowning achievement of my creator alchemist with the ego and confidence to match. And speaking of confidence and ego, we're going to be applying that to this browser game called a Good Wick. I guess it's supposed to be like a creepypasta, horror, visual novel type game. I initially planned to play this back in October, but I didn't end up doing that. I played more. I actually played the that other game, also called it was called Wick. I played that instead of a Good Wick, and then I spent the rest of the time playing Undertale. So now we're finally giving this one a shot, even though it's not October anymore. But, you know, it doesn't matter. So, yeah, let's see. Dark fantasy horror mystery game. In a junction where the roads meet on a flat lake, there was once a town called Pyre on the Water, which experienced 1,000 nights and no daylight in between. We say there was once a town called Pyre on the Water because no such town exists there now. Ooh. It disappeared in a single night, leaving nothing but dust and bramble, and here we will try to uncover how this came to pass. Interesting. I'm excited for it. For anybody who saw my tweet earlier, I'm having kind of a rough day with my arms, with my nerves. So I wanted to do something more casual. From what I understand, this is probably just going to be like a clicking game. I hope there's not a whole lot of movement, but let's look at the content warning. Violence, abuse of children, body horror, mass death, body amputation. If any of these things bother you, please do not watch this stream. I like that they had a content warning here. So either, yeah, don't watch or be prepared for that. Violence and abuse of children, body horror, mass death, body amputation. Nothing about language, but I guess, like, you know, if you're watching me, you probably don't have a problem with swearing in language to begin with. Let's see. Oh yeah, also, this is by Little Foolery. They're just like an independent, you know, group of game developers. Let's see. Per route, there's multiple routes? Ooh. Well, I don't know if I'm going to do more than one, because again, ARM stuff, we'll see. But we recommend playing at full screen in a dark room for the best immersive experience. Well, I don't have curtains, and my plants need sunlight, so we're keeping the window open, but I will do full screen. Also because the browser bar is just really unsightly, I was going to do that anyway. So, I don't have anything else to say regarding this. How many routes are there? 2 story branches, and a hidden third ending. Third ending hint, be honest and look between the lines at the end. We'll see if I remember that. Anyway, let's start playing the game. And F11 to full screen. Look at that, beautiful. Oh goodness. Okay, cool. I was gonna say, I can't see anything! Warnings we already saw, so begin. I don't know if there's sound. I currently am not hearing any sound. You know what? Just because I know that my desktop volume is usually quite quiet, we'll turn it up a little bit. Again, not that there's any sound right now. But, alright, let's begin. A fact about daylight. It is said in stories that day comes because of a ball of fire in the sky. This ball rises every morning from the east and sets every evening in the west. When the ball rises, the skies are blue, and people go to work, go to school, and live their lives, for it is day and everything is safe and bright. Oh my. I like the vibe already. Trees are simply trees, roads are simply roads. When the ball falls, people go home, lock their doors, and sleep if they are lucky, for it is night when the woods grow thick and scratch at our doors. It would be nice if such a thing existed. If such a thing. This ball of fire is a fairy tale, nothing more. Okay, no sun. We all know that daylight comes from torches, and if those torches ever go out, the nights are long indeed. Interesting. Isn't it nice, then, that we have knights who come and fix our torches when they break? Oh boy. Am I a knight? Am I the one who provides the good wicks? A fact about the town. In a junction where the roads meet on a flat lake, there was once a town called Pyre on the Water, which experienced 1,000 nights and no daylight between. This is what I read earlier. We say there was a town called Pyre on the Water because no such town exists there now. It disappeared in a single night, leaving nothing but dust and bramble. And here we will try to uncover how this came to pass. A fact about the night. She arrived in town on the last night, guided by the light of the town's last burning lamp. She dressed like a knight, but her shadow was all wrong. The lamp tried to warn the townsfolk, but no one listened. The people in Pyre on the Water learned long ago the dangers of listening to little lights on a moonless night. The people in Pyre on the Water don't listen to much of anything anymore. A fact about the lamp. It was a good lamp, right? Yeah. It was a good lamp, the lamp that sat outside the road to Pyre on the Water. Is there only one lamp? Oh boy. Last lamp in its row. Oh yeah, Huh. I have reading comprehension. It was the last lamp in its row. It hung next to the town's sign. The lamp had burned for 3 years. This meant something. Most lamps didn't last long on the road to Pyre on the Water, where the skies were forever dark and black. The lamp knew its importance. There was no such thing as daylight in Pyre on the Water since its torch went out. As such, the town's only light came from the lamps which lined the streets of the town and the lamps which marked the road leading up the town's gates. Lamps on the road did not do as well as the lamps in the street. Outside of the town walls, the bramble and trees of the surrounding forest grew fast and crawled over everything. This particular lamp saw many lamps gutter under these conditions. There were many ways lamps died. Sometimes the bramble grew up their posts and into their main chambers and snuffed them out. Sometimes gray rains blew in from the western thickets and drowned them in mud and water. Sometimes the wind blew them over into the dirt, where they choked and guttered out. Sometimes a traveler, desperate to escape the dark and prickly wood, knocked them over in their rush to the town gates. Sometimes they took the lamp from its post, stumbled into the forest, and never returned. Oh boy. When a lamp died, someone from Pyre on the Water Town Council came to collect the remains and post a new one in its place. They took the broken lamp to a dump in the woods. They hammered down the new lamp with hammers and rope. Eventually, the new lamp would burn down or sputter or fall, and the process would begin again. This particular lamp saw it happen many times. None of the other lamps could stay burning for 3 whole years. Oh my. The lamp took a particular pride in its work. Sometimes the members of the town council noticed? At least this one's still burning, said a councilman. He shoved a broken lamp into one of his cloth sacks. He edged close to the surviving lamp's light where the grass didn't grow as high. Must have been one hell of a good wick. Or must have one hell of a good wick. Shh, hissed his companion with a hurried look over his shoulder. The 2 lamps had blown out in a spring storm, and the bramble grew very thick in the spots where they'd stood. The councilman hacked them away with sickles and shears, but it only did so much. Someone could hear you. Oh boy. They hung a new lamp and jogged back to the gate, where they banged on the door until the guards opened it. No one in Pyre on the Water liked to stay out beyond the walls for very long. Oh, I forgot I was reading about the lamp. I got all immersed in the lore. Fact about terms of address. This was one of the first times the lamp could recall being addressed so directly. It took these words particularly to heart. Good Wick. That is what the man said about it, so that, it decided, would be its name. Interesting. Lamp sentience. How can a lamp decide on such things? That was simply how things were in a town like Pyre on the Water. A fact about the town the night before last. All right. It was said during the day that Pyre on the Water was an idyllic little lakeside hamlet nestled in green hills over a mirror-like lake. The town got its name from the old torch built into the roof of the town hall, which had once burned so bright you could see it over the trees for miles. The facade of all the administrative buildings were gilt in polished gold so that the fires could be reflected and the whole town looked like a flame. That was the general principle, but the torch went out a long time ago. There hasn't been a day in Pyre on the Water for a long, long time. A fact about the mayor, 2 nights before the last. The mayor of Pyre on the Water stood 5'7", a round, warm person with a round, warm face, worn through by wrinkles of care. The townsfolk elected him 5 times in a row. There's a lot of numbers. I'm wondering if I should be remembering all of these numbers, because there's been 3, there's been 2, now there's 5. I'm not counting 5'7", but I don't know. I see numbers and my brain goes brrr. The townsfolk loved the mayor of Pyre on the Water as much as they could love anything these days. The brambles scraped often at the walls, leaving the townsfolk nervous and irritable, but the mayor, by contrast, smiled and laughed as often as he could. No one would have blamed him if he'd been old and crotchety, but he was, in fact, quite genial in all things considered. He knocked on all the doors and asked after every child. He did his best. He really did do his best. Except the night before everything went wrong, the mayor of Pyre on the Water didn't smile. That night he came to check on the lamps himself, under a big, heavy coat, so he could pretend to be someone else. He pulled a torn envelope from his coat, cracked open the little grate holding Good Wick's flame, and fed it to the lamp. Good Wick ate it happily, crunching it to ash. 3 seasons and still going, said the mayor, looking up at the town sign. You do have a Good Wick. Good Wick beamed at the compliment. It didn't even gutter when a harsh, cold breeze hit it. The mayor reached up and cracked open the lamp's crate. Listen, my Good Wick, he said. You mustn't let this get out, but I'm very worried. There's something dangerous in the wind, and I'll need you to keep an eye out for it. The lamp bobbed. There was no need for him to worry while the lights burned bright on the road. True, the forest creeped near the walls, but it never had the nerve to breach the gates. It's something far worse than that, I fear, said the mayor. The lamp quivered. What could be worse than the woods at night? I'm going to ask you to do something very tricky. I'm going to have to ask you to remember something. Do you think you can keep this memory in your head for the next few days, without burning it too quickly? The lamp stilled. Good Wick was very good at its job. It had burned for 3 years. Thank you, he said. The mayor almost smiled. We all do what we must to keep this town safe. With any luck you won't need this, but please listen carefully. I know it will sound strange, but it's very important. When the time comes, please repeat these words exactly as I've said it. Once this is done, I'll make you my reading lamp. It seems a waste leaving such a good wick out there. The lamp flared, eager to listen. To be a reading lamp seemed a very good prospect indeed. Another fact about the lamps. Well, I hope that line wasn't the one that I was supposed to remember, because I've already partially forgot it. The lamps were very important to the residents of Pyre on the Water. People did everything by their light. They had to. Without the light, the world got dark and sticky. Without the light, the wood grew without restraint. The villagers found their way to market by little lamps posted in Main Street. The villagers grew vegetables in little circles of light. This, at least, was what the lamps out on the road understood about the town. Most of what the lamps saw of the town came from the times when the guardsmen opened the gates all the way. Some of them could even remember bits and pieces of the time before they were staked out by the road. But lamps, even old ones like Good Wick, weren't good at details. The lamps put a lot of effort into shining bright. Memories burned faster than oil, but there's far less of them. especially when you're just a simple roadside lamp. A fact about what the mayor said. All right. Left at the fork, right at the ridge, left through the ravine, left at the river, cross the bridge, and follow the ash trees until you reach the swamp. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write that down. Let's see. All right. Luckily, I keep a pen and paper at my desk at all times. All right, let's get to an empty paper here. Yeah, paper ASMR. Let's go. Left at the fork. Left. Fork. Right. Ridge. Ridge. Left ravine. Ravine. Or left through, whatever. Left through ravine. Left at river. River. Cross bridge. 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 Ash trees. Swamp. Yes. Cool. Delightful. Excellent. And I'm going to keep that right there. Until you reach a swamp. Good Wick did not know what this meant, but kept this information alight in its chambers, knowing it would be important sometime soon. A fact about the knights. We think well of knights, for they are the ones who fix torches when they go out. Several knights had visited Pyre on the Water by that point, for their torch had been out for some time. If anyone had asked Good Wick to describe a knight, it would describe this. A steady, tall figure wearing a cape and a hood. The hood would be black with a bright lining woven into the underside of the material. Interesting. This lining would be lots of different colors, sometimes blue-white, sometimes purple-gold, sometimes orange-blue. This colorful part glowed in such a way that at a distance, this swaying figure would seem almost like a lamp on the horizon. Unlike a lamp, they had metal boots and metal gloves, walked on their own, and always in a straight line. Like a traveler, they made for the town as soon as they saw it. Unlike a traveler, they did not come from the road. Instead, they came from the woods, crossing the meadow to get to the town gates. They did not hurry. They did not put their hoods down. They did not look at the lamps. They did not check the sign. They did not speak. They came every few months. They spent a few hours in town and left. They walked in a straight line across the meadow from whence they came. Their light flickered out as they vanished into the trees of the deeper wood. The same night never came twice. This would be what Good Wick would have said, if anyone had asked it. No one asked Good Wick how to describe a night. No one asked Good Wick much of anything. Another fact about the night who arrived. Oh boy. But this night did it all wrong. She emerged from the wood bobbing like a torch. She walked towards Pyre on the Water full of purpose, but as she got close, Good Wick knew there would be a problem. Her metal boots crunched in the bramble. Her metal gloves glinted at her sides. She wore a dark cape over her shoulder so that anyone could see the lines of her battered travel clothes. The lining of her cape burned a bright golden red, but she tossed it carelessly over one shoulder. So many lines, so many of them, so many folds. The knights that came before her were all tall and thin. This knight was short and broad. Most knights crossed the meadow with a careful grace, but this knight prowled. The bramble shook and snarled under her feet, leaving little smoking cinders behind her. The knight stopped before she reached the gate. She drew her hood back. Her hair fell around her face like a bramble of its own, so black it could have been part of the night skies. She had a sharp, hungry face with dark eyes, hard and shiny like little unlit coals. She looked at the town sign, she looked at the gate, then she looked at Good Wick. Her lips drew back to show a row of white teeth. "Well," she said in a deep, scraping voice, "that's a hell of a thing." "I see," thought Good Wick, with a sudden sputter of revelation. "This is the danger that the mayor warned me about." Crushing a particular persistent thorny vine underfoot, she curled her metal glove into a fist and struck the door 3 times, and then 3 more after. See? 3. Also 6. Numbers, brr. Good Wick swayed as best as it could on its stake. Don't open it, it tried to say. She's all wrong, it tried to warn them. But like all lamps, Good Wick was covered by a grate. Its voice could not carry above more than the feeblest of a whisper. The guardsmen didn't hear it, or if they did, they didn't listen. They saw the hood, they saw a knight, they opened the gate. A fact about the knight who came back. Knights don't come back. Perhaps someone did hear Good Wick's warning, for Pyre on the Water did not vanish just then. The knight emerged not an hour later, her hair and cape whispering behind her like a puff of leaves. Okay, fine, she snapped at the gates. They slammed shut. She turned to face the post. Her mean little eyes lingered over Good Wick's post. You. She lifted one gloved hand, the metal of her fingers tapping Good Wick's grate. You're the lamp that's been burning for the past 3 years? Good Wick flickered the affirmative. I can't hear you, the knight said, scowling, and cracked open Good Wick's grate. The smell of wet moss caused Good Wick to sputter, but it held firm, even though at this proximity the knight's teeth looked especially sharp. 3 seasons and still going, said Good Wick in that small, crackling way Lamp spoke. You have a name? Asked the knight. A Good Wick, said the lamp. The knight sneered. Her eyes didn't reflect Good Wick's light. How could the townsfolk not notice? That's not a name, said the knight. That's just what you are. Ugh, this is what I hate about towns like this. You shouldn't even be here. Good Wick sizzled with resentment and said nothing. It didn't matter. The knight reached for the post, dislodging it from the ground with one simple tug. This was no small feat. It had taken 2 men to fasten that post. Good Wick smoked and lashed against the grate, but the guards didn't seem to notice. Listen, said the knight, who was still all wrong. I'm here to figure out what doused the light in your town. I think it's got something to do with what's living in the woods. The mayor says you can show me the way. Can you? Good Wick paused. The mayor's words came back to it. Most lamps had spotty memories at best. They burned through everything so quickly, but Good Wick had taken care to eat these memories slowly. I see, thought the lamp. So this is how I may help the town. Please listen carefully, said Good Wick. Oh boy. I'm glad I wrote it down. Very glad I wrote it down. A fact about dark woods. Woods that grew at night were not like woods that grew during the day. During the day, bramble didn't crawl. During the day, trees stayed in one spot. During the day, all sorts of animals went about their business. Squirrels, rabbits, deer, birds. Nothing about the night made these things go away, but the night made them a little wrong. Deer became pale and jumped a bit too high. Rabbits stared out from their warrens with eyes a bit too hollow. A wood at night invited creatures that did not come during the day. Raccoons, bears, wolves. Well, we all know about wolves. But things far worse than that come out when it's night for too long. Great, huge, hulking things that find their place between those gaps in the trees. They eat light and grow like bristle vines in no clear order. These are the creatures that grow from the wood. They grow from the trees and the bramble, for beasts, true beasts, lie at the heart of any true dark wood. A house made of candy, a matted creature with many eyes. There are many shapes they can take. A fool may think such a thing is the only danger. Ah, they may think, if I can dodge the beast, I'll be safe. This has been the downfall of many a traveler, for a dark forest has a life all its own. Every grasping branch and crying stream is only one squirming organ of a huge, living, breathing, desperately hungry thing. This was the forest that grew outside of Pyre on the Water, where Good Wick and the knight now went. Good Wick held aloft on its post. The knight's empty eyes fixed straight ahead as though there was nothing strange about this place at all. When they reached the fork. Past the meadow, past the grove, when the town fell out of sight, the knight found the fork in what was left in the road. Fruitless berry Wow. Fruitless berry bushes grew over most of the packed earth. Where to? Asked the knight. Left at the fork, said Good Wick. The knight turned right! Ma'am! Left at the fork, cried Good Wick. Left at the fork. I heard you, said the knight. She stayed to the right. An interlude. So is the mayor lying? Is the mayor trying to keep things this way? Because he knew the night was coming? The bramble grew thicker and thornier. The knight's metal boots crunched on the forest floor. The end of Goodwick's post caught on some of the low branches. Left at the fork, Goodwick muttered irritably. Left at the fork. The post caught on a root. The knight stopped. She stabbed the post into the damp soil. Ugh, said the knight. This is a mess. Listen, lamp, you think you can hoof it on your own for a bit? I'm a lamp! I can't go anywhere. I'm a lamp. Goodwick swayed in the negative. It was, after all, a lamp with no feet of its own. Left at the fork was all it said. Are you sure? Said the knight, tapping one of her feet against an upturned root. I've got an extra set. Of feet? Of boots? But Goodwick noticed the way the bramble didn't quite touch the knight's boots, and the way those boots didn't shine, even under the lamp's brightest light. Interesting. Left at the fork, said Goodwick instead. I heard you, said the knight, shouldering the post. Shine on, you stubborn kid. When they reached the ridge. The ridge? Oh yeah, right at the ridge. The knight did not wind up too far off course, because not long after that she found the ridge. Didn't she keep right? Interesting. Not left. It wasn't a particularly steep ridge, just 5 feet or so off the ground, but the stones stuck out from it like teeth. The lamp's light couldn't quite reach the bottom. Ah, thought the lamp, this is the way to the ravine. Oh, it's the ravine? We'll left through the ravine. If we go the wrong way here, we'll miss it entirely. Huh, said the knight. Where to here? Right at the ridge, the mayor had said. Left at the ridge, said Goodwick. Did he say right at the ridge? Yeah. You good? My dog tried to jump up on the bed and hit her knee on the way up. Anyway, the knight turned right in the direction of the deepening crevasse when they reached the ravine. After a time, the ridge became a deep cut in the ground. The trees surrounding it leaned over like old women grasping for something lost below. After a time, a section of stone cut downwards into the ravine. The knight leaned over the edge, her hair falling raggedly over her shoulders. In silhouette, she did not look so very different from the trees. I must lead her as far from the town as I can, thought Goodwick. Oh. I must keep them safe. Which way? She asked in a low voice like a growl. Lie to the knight or tell the truth. Well, I'm the lamp. I must keep them safe. So I'm going to lie to the knight. I'm obeying the mayor. Right above the ravine, lied Goodwick. The knight... Ah, fuck, she turned left. The knight stepped down into the crevasse and turned left. God damn it. The rocky walls rose around them, tiny stones winked in the shadows, like eyes following them as they pressed deeper into the woods. How a lamp lies. In this way, Goodwick understood it could do its chosen task. Every time the knight stopped to ask for direction, the lamp told her the exact opposite of what the mayor had said. This was no easy task for a lamp. Repeating words it had heard previously was easy enough. It was just spitting out old, digested information, much in the way it spat out smoke. But new words took a lot of energy. The lamp burned brighter with each lie it told, sucking in air to fuel to produce words as well as light, but over time, it burned a bit lower as well. Oh, dang. Okay, well, that puts a damper on my duty, doesn't it? In this way, they reached the river. In this way, they crossed the bridge. In this way, they found a line of ash trees, then the swamp, which lay at the bottom of a slope in the grove. The knight stopped at the edge. She raised the post high. Her boots squelched in the mud. Goodwick's light flickered on the glassy, shallow puddles ahead, choked with mud and dead branches. There were many branches. This deep in the wood, the trees grew so thick that they blocked the sky. The stink of mud and decay blotted out even smell of cinders and moss. Good Wick shivered. "All right," said the knight. "Where to from here?" Good Wick hesitated. It had burned through most of its remembered directions. The rest were crumbly and distant. It could see nothing to indicate the next path, just bubbles rising from the muck. Yeah, because we got cross the bridge, follow the ash trees, and reach the swamp. So I don't know. I could lead her to the center of the swamp, thought Good Wick, where she will drown. I could lead her back to the ravine and off the edge, thought Good Wick, and trap her in some deep pit. But none of these seemed quite right to Good Wick, even though it understood the task ahead of it. This night wasn't a night. The town needed the lamp's protection. Why couldn't it remember the directions past the swamp? Surely there was something it could do. Surely there was something it could say. Right at the swamp or left at the swamp? Where did we... Well, we want to cross the bridge. I don't know what direction we go to the swamp or what direction goes to... What was it? The ridge? The ravine? Let's go left at the swamp. "So," said the knight, "this is the spot, huh?" "No," said Good Wick, a little further. "Oh my!" Which was when the beast tore out of the swamp. A fact about beasts. We do not know many exact facts about beasts because they take so many shapes. The lamp, for example, assumed they took the shape of rude knights. This beast did not take such a shape. This one was square-shaped with long, scraggly pieces hanging from its back and belly. The only bright point was its claws, 10 of them, silver in the lamplight and raised high to strike. The knight stabbed the post into the earth and reached for her sword. In this brief moment, Good Wick saw a big, hairy thing rearing out of the mud. The big, hairy thing raised a big, hairy leg. Oh no. The post slipped in the wet soil. The post broke, and Good Wick with it. Its grate shattered and bent on one side. The post splintered beneath its base. The lamp landed sideways in the mud, where it began to sink. Fuck! Oh no, thought Good Wick as the water rose up around it. The mud will choke me. I don't want to die, man. I'm a 3-year-old lamp. I'm the oldest lamp there is. It saw the beast's front paws sink into the mud. It saw the knight's boots skidding backwards. Their feet didn't look the same. Good Wick wondered why it had tried to draw the comparison at all. Good Wick didn't wonder for very long. The beast's claws rose and hit the dirt again, and water began to seep through the broken glass. Help, thought Good Wick, as the water lashed at its fiery tongue. Good Wick coughed and sputtered, trying to angle itself against the rising murk. Help. I did what I asked. I'm supposed to be a reading lamp. The knight's cape flickered even unevenly above. The beast snarled. It sounded like the croak of a clogged well. Good Wick tried to roll away from the splashing and the sinking, but what remained of the post was heavy, and Good Wick was stuck to it. I can't go out, thought Good Wick, as the water closed in. I am a Good Wick. I've burned for 3 years. I can't go out. I can't. The beast roared, spattering rotted bark and drowned moths. The knight swore, the tip of her sword, searing the mud into solidness for long enough for her to thrust the light upwards. The beast gagged. The water closed over Good Wick's grate. Another fact about lamps. The knight fished the lamp out of the swamp. It didn't look much like a lamp anymore. What remained of its case was bent and battered. It was covered with muck, and the light from inside its grate flickered like a dying ember. The knight ripped off the casing. The knight tore open the grate. The knight pulled out the wick, the pathetic, sizzling wick in its frail, broken little candle. She laid it over her lamp. She pulled her hair over her shoulder, used her sword to hack out a long, scraggly hank of it, and lowered torn strands into the lamp's broken mouth. Interesting. The light throbbed. Good Wick flickered back into consciousness, blinking against the darkness. Bro, this art's beautiful. Hope this wasn't what your mayor had in mind, said the knight, now lit by a wavering circle of light. She held the wick closer to her chest so that it would stay dry. That beast was just a wretched old bear. I don't think that thing even died recently. It must have been rotting in this swamp. Aw, shit, we're dealing with dead animals. Zombies. Zombie animals. Doubt it's what ate your town's torch. It couldn't even manage to eat either of us. This close, the knight's face didn't seem so wrong anymore. She looked tired and annoyed, with a cut on her chin and a tear in her collar. Oh, said Good Wick, you saved me. Don't get precious with me, said the knight. I still need your light. I was going to be a reading lamp, said Good Wick. What's that got to do with anything? The knight frowned. You want to be a reading lamp? Good Wick thought for a moment. No, he said. Well, good for you, said the knight. She stood, moving a bit unsteadily in the mud. She held Good Wick in the crook of her arm. She raised her elbow so that he could see the swamp and the old dead bear. It didn't look like much at all now, just a pile of rotted skin hanging off some old bones, with some vines here and there holding the whole thing together. The beast was a bear, said Good Wick. But I thought... The knight looked at him. What did you think? Good Wick stopped. I think, he said, I should know your name. There's a few answers there, said the knight, but you can call me Ash. I love it. Ash, said Good Wick. Hello, Ash. I know the way. Should hope you do, said the knight. Where to next? Listen carefully, said Good Wick. To his surprise, she did. Head up the slope. It was hard to find the path. The swamp was dark and slick. Listen, said the knight. Can you show me the path? I would, said the lamp, but I have no feet. I've got extra, said the knight, and pulled off her metal boots. Despite the mud, they still glittered in the dark. She strapped them to the lamp, and after that, he walked ahead of her so she could see where to stop next. Interesting. Press through the trees. The grove grew thick and spiny. Good Wick couldn't step without bumping a low branch. Hang on, said the knight, drawing her sword. Stay back, I'll cut us through. Hang on to me. I would, said the lamp, but I have no hands. I got extra, said the knight, who pulled off her metal gauntlets. Bro, was she also a lamp? That'd be interesting. If she used to be one. Which is why she was so different from the other knights and is determined to figure out what happened. Because it was also her duty. I don't know. Because she's, like, given all of her pieces to the lamp, right? Like, what if she was also a lamp whose memories burned up, you know? That'd be cool. Despite the blood and the scrapes, they still gleamed in the night. She strapped them to the lamp, and after that he held her cape, and she chopped her way through the thick parts of the wood until the branches shrank away at the sight of her. Right after the bridge. Right after the bridge. Oh yeah, we didn't cross a bridge. We went right at a ridge. Right through the ravine. Right through the ravine. Oh, we're going backwards. We're going backwards. Climb the... The winds blew hard in the ravine. Good Wick shivered so hard it grew hard to speak. It began to rain. Oh, fuck, it began to rain. Oh no, said Good Wick. I have no grate. If that touches me, I'll go out. So wear something for this crap weather, said the knight. How can I do that, said Good Wick. I have no clothes. Good thing I have extra, said the knight. She gave him her cape. After that, he pulled the hood up over his head. The rain couldn't touch him anymore. Bruh, what did I say? Climb the steps. To the ridge. Left. Left here. Then right. 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 The rain fell, the drops hit the ground and trees around them hard. It grew hard to speak at a whisper, with the drumming of water around them. The knight had to stoop to hear the lamp's directions. They'd grown very faint and wheezing. It's no good, said the knight. Your voice is too soft. Speak up. I can barely hear you over this storm. I am a lamp, said Good Wick. I can't speak louder than this. So spit out that cloth in your mouth, said the knight. No one can shout with something like that muffling them up. I am a lamp, said Good Wick. This cloth is my wick. Without it, my heart will burn out and I will die. Good thing you've got a body to keep it all burning, said the knight. Why don't you use that instead? So Good Wick spat out the old rotted cloth he had kept in his mouth for 3 years. After that, he could speak at whatever volume he wanted and had no further difficulties in telling her the way. Wow. Right at the divide. Straight on. There will be a wall, a gate, and a sign. Ignore the guardsman. He will not hear you when you speak. Pass through the gate. Inside, there will be many streets, but follow the main one. It will be lit by many lamps. Many, many lamps. Stop to... Don't bother, said the knight. Nothing we can do. But I, said Good Wick, but they... Weak wicks, said the knight. They're already half out. Continue to the town square. You will see an old bronze basin. Pass the basin. Make a slight right. There will be a large square house. I should probably be trying to remember these things. There will be a set of stairs. Ignore the shouting men. They are not who you want. Walk up the stairs. Ignore the men who try to stop you. They do not have a sword like yours. It's not raining anymore, said the knight, sliding her sword back into its scabbard. I can hear you just fine. At the end of the hall, there will be an office. The doors will be locked, but they keep the key in the... The door was old and rotted. The lock was choked by moss and rust. It fell apart with one kick. Oh, said Good Wick. Yeah, said the knight. Oh, wow. I don't know how well that's shown up on stream, but, like... It's all, like, ashy, like a whole silhouette of a person. That's cool. What are you doing here? Said the thing, staring up over its desk. Oh, shit, is this the mayor? Which was covered in pens and papers. An old skull held a candle, burned down almost to the wick. How did you get back in here? What are you, and what is that? A fact about making lamps? Oh boy. You find a wick. Oh no. You find a base. You drill the wick into the base and cover it with a grate. Bruh, are the lanterns children? The base will have feet. You will need to cut these off so it will fit properly on its post. Holy shit. The base will have arms. You will need to trim these so it will fit beneath the grate. A good lamp will keep the town happy. A good lamp will keep the wood from scratching at the gates. A good lamp will burn bright. And a good lamp always has... One more fact about the lamp. You called me Good Wick, said the boy. Shit. But that's not my name. The thing at the desk withered into a pale, shaking thing. It pulled back, it reached for a weapon. It waved it, it shouted, it began to cry. It had only done what it ought to. It had only done what it could. It had done it for the town. Yeah, said the knight, who had a mission in mind, and all that good intent is what snuffed your torch out the rest of the way. So kid, we're at the source. Where to now? Wowie. Wowie zowie. Ooh boy. Here, said the boy with his new metal hands. Here, said the boy, pointing to the windows. Here, said the boy, pointing to the door. Here. He pointed to the creature at the desk. Got it. said the knight. She drew her sword. A fact about the town. I really like this story. I think this is cool as shit. In a junction where the roads meet on a flat lake, there was once a town called Pyre on the Water, which experienced 1,000 nights and no daylight between. We say there was once a town called Pyre on the Water because no such town exists there now. Oh yeah, this was before it all disappeared. I forgot. It disappeared in a single night, leaving nothing but dust and bramble. I completely forgot. We just did like a whole flashback. And now we know how this came to pass. We killed the creature. The end. The end?! Replay from checkpoint. Replay from the beginning. I don't want to replay from the beginning. Replay from checkpoint. Replay from checkpoint. Well, what was... Maybe if I was truthful to the knight... Maybe if I'm truthful, she'll go the wrong way, which is what I want. And then I get upset, and then maybe I don't become a real boy. I want to ruminate about that for a moment, actually. That was fucking cool. I was not expecting the lamps to have been children. I was actually wondering, like, you know, where's the violence and the abuse of children? Where is the body horror? And I thought the body horror was, like, with the rotting animal corpse with the bear. But I was like, man, that's not, like, I don't know. That doesn't seem very body horror-y, and it also has nothing to do with children. So, like, where was that? What's the point of that warning? But then, like, you know, I guess if you just cut the limbs off of children and make them your lantern lookouts, that definitely counts as violence towards children, doesn't it? But that would also, because I was curious when we were going through it, I didn't, like, say anything out loud because, you know, reading. But, it was right when you start to lead the night. She calls you kid. Right when she, like, lifts the post up and you start to go. And I think it's, like, before you actually start giving her directions and you agree to give her directions, she calls you kid. And I was like, that's a curious thing to call a lamp. But I guess I know why. Because it's just a fucking kid in there, dude. What the fuck? Alright. I don't want to go from the beginning because that's a whole lot of exposition and it feels just kind of mean to skip through all of that again. So let's just replay from the checkpoint. Yeah, I want to tell the truth to the knight. But what's the secret third thing? Because it says read between the lines for the secret third ending. And I keep, like, trying to look, like, literally between these lines here. And, whoops. And I haven't... I don't know. Like, I haven't seen anything else. Whoop. I'm gonna tell the truth to the knight. Yeah, she's going the wrong way. Alright, that'll be interesting. Left above the ravine, said Good Wick faithfully. The knight descended down into the crevasse and turned right. You know, before I continue, I've got water here. I've been talking for about an hour straight, more than usual. So, let me hydrate before we continue anymore. You know, even though this said visual novel, for some reason I wasn't expecting to have to read out loud. I got no brains sometimes, fellas. Alright. The knight descended down into the crevasse and turned right. The rocky walls fell away around them, and the trees closed in. Another fact about the knight. Why does it look like that? Slash, 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 dash, Is that another slash? Maybe I should write that down. I don't know. I'm all paranoid. Let's see. Slash. Weirder slash. I don't know. It's not some funky Morse code, because there's multiple symbols, but anyway. Interesting. Her hair was dark as night, her eyes black as coal. When she inhaled in, it sounded like the wind in the trees. When she exhaled out, dead leaves danced on her breath. She marched on, pressing deeper into the wood. In Good Wick's swaying light, her shadow bent like a branch. Wrong, thought Good Wick, as her boots sunk into the damp earth, heavier than they should have been. Is she a tree? Is she like an ash tree? Either that or she's like, you know, like I said, maybe like she was a lamp. I don't know. What was my original theory? I forget. Wrong, thought Good Wick, as her armored fist shoved the bramble aside, stronger than it should have been. Good Wick's flames burned low. Oh, jeez. A lamp is not very good at creative thinking, for to do so burns it down faster than anything else. A lie would require more fuel than Good Wick necessarily had. The truth led the knight further on, to that place deep down the path where she could not be allowed to go. How the lamp lies when it is out of time. These being combined is curious. Right and right and right again, until the knight turned all around and they returned to the ravine. Good Wick gasped and sputtered. The wind hurt and the bramble seemed closer than ever, but surely it had done its job. How a lamp tells the truth. Good Wick could do no more than its chosen task. Every time the knight stopped to ask for a direction, the lamp could only repeat the directions the mayor fed it. It wanted so badly to be a good lamp. Good Wick spat out old digested information, much in the way it spat out smoke as it burned through all the words it had been given. Right at the ravine, right? No, we're supposed to go left at the ravine. They didn't find a river, but they found a muddy brook. In another time, the water must have flowed over the rocks, but now it was little more than spongy earth. The trees and stones sank into the loose mud. The knight's boot came down, stuck, and came away with a loud pop. "What's that?" said the knight, holding Good Wick high. Didn't catch that. Under her helm, her hair bristled like pine needles. Speak up, said the knight, whose face looked longer in Good Wick's fading light. I must do something, thought Good Wick pleadingly. I must be a good lamp. The woods grew darker the deeper they went. Good Wick ducked low in his grate. The grate, said Good Wick. The grate gets in the way. So take it off, said the knight with a scowl. But the wind is blowing so hard, wavered Good Wick, flailing what little it could within the grate. It'll snuff me out without it. If I had a helm like yours, I would be able to speak with no trouble at all. Fine, said the knight, who gave it her helmet. Good, thought Good Wick. The people can see the shape of her face. What next? Oh, wow. Left at the river. What river? The knight turned right. There was no bridge, but a fallen tree. It had been felled by a woodsman. Thorny branches grew around it. Good Wick recognized the axe resting in the stump. Recognized the axe. It belonged to Pyre on the Water and to the men who took the dead lamps from their posts. Oh. Ugh, said the knight, all these thorns. They cut her exposed face. A line of black liquid fell down her chin. Keep out, huh? Said the knight, stabbing the post into the ground. She reached for her sword, her armor gloves flexed like claws. Bully that. Hey, lamp, hang on to me, I'll cut us through. The town thinks she's a knight, thought Good Wick. I need to show them the truth. That's what a good lamp would do. I would, said Good Wick faithfully, but I have no hands. Fine, fine, said the knight. I've got extra, hold still. The knight slipped her gloves off her hands and put them on the lamp. The lamp gripped her cape, counting the joints in her fingers as she curled them around her sword. Too many, thought Goodwick. Good, now they'll see. Too many. I don't know, for a kid with no arms, even one finger is too many. Which might have been, like, dark humor, but, you know, whatever. He is a game where kids get their limbs cut off. How much more darker can it get, I guess? There was a zombie bear. It's fucking... you know what I mean. The knight tore down the vines with 5 sweeps of her sword. It sounded like an axe. Thwack, thwack, thwack. It was 5 again. That's the second instance of 5. Third instance of 5? Second. Cross the bridge? What? Stairs? What's that? They reached a steep hill. Goodwick's light found the dents in the stone where the townsfolk had carved a steep stairway into the side of the hill. Unbidden, the knight began to climb. The steps got rocky and steep, and often she had to use her exposed hands for balance. She moved more comfortably on all 4s. Curious. It was awkward to do this and carry the lamp at the same time. She stopped halfway up, resting the post against one of the steps above her. This won't do, she said. You'll have to climb up ahead of me. I am a lamp, cried Goodwick. You have given me hands and you have given me a helmet, but I have no feet to stand on. Fine, sighed the knight, through her long teeth. I've got extra. She pulled off her metal boots and stuck them to the lamp's base. This way it could scramble up ahead of her. In this way, the knight could move freely on all 4s, in the way no human would ever do. Follow the... I'm sorry, what was that again? Or what was it again? Never mind, said the knight as they reached the top of the hill. Here at the top, the townsfolk had dug a deep pit. The knight peered over the side, and above them it began to rain, hard and driving. The townsfolk had fixed a post with a rope at the edge of the pit. It trailed down into the space below. Oh, thought Goodwick, this is the place the mayor didn't want her to go. I can't let her go down there. The knight's cloak lashed in the rising winds. It settled and wrestled around her shoulders, or settled and resettled around her shoulders, never in the right shape, as though a far greater body were wearing it. My, said the knight, what do we have here? It occurred to Goodwick then that the pit itself, while wide enough for a councilman or the mayor, wouldn't fit someone much larger than that. But all this thinking had taken its toll on Goodwick. Its light burned low, barely reaching more than a foot down. Hey kid, said the knight, teeth glinting in the dark. You know what this is? It's cold, said Goodwick. Hey kid, said the knight, I'm going down there. I'll need a bit more light than that. Lift your head a little. It's raining, said Goodwick. If I lift my head back too much, it will touch me and I will die. The knight narrowed her eyes at it, not entirely convinced of its innocence. Right, she said, wet leaves on her breath. Good thing I got layers. She pulled the cloak off her shoulders. She wasn't so short and stubby anymore. She wasn't the size of a councilman anymore. Her shadow spread around her. It spread and spread and spread. Oh no, thought Goodwick, when it saw what was underneath. A fact about beasts. They're bigger than you'd think. Oh no. Well, asked the knight, where to next? I don't know. Oh boy. Can't hear you. You can't go down there. Hey kid. You can't go down there. You'll have to talk a little louder. You can't. Okay. Okay. Bend your head down. Oh boy. A little closer. Man, this is spooky. Sure. Goodwick reached up with its borrowed hands. It grabbed 2 fists full of the knight's bristling hair. It blew the last bit of its dying flames into her face, and threw itself backwards into the pit below. A fact about the lamp part way down. Oh boy. It was a good lamp, the lamp that sat outside the road on to Pyre on the Water. It was the last lamp in its row. It hung next to the town's sign. The lamp had burned for 3 years. This meant something. Most lamps didn't last long, not on the road to Pyre on the Water, where the skies were forever dark and black. A fact about lamps, halfway down. When a lamp died, someone from Pyre on the Water Town Council came to collect the remains and post a new one in its place. They took the broken lamp to a dump in the woods. They set the new lamp with hammers and rope. A fact about lamp disposal. At the bottom. Pyre on the Water had a particular protocol in place for how to dispose of lamps that went out. A councilman came with a sack. They cut the lamp down from its post, then removed the grate and base. Oh boy. They placed the burnt-out wick in a sack and carried that sack down a worn path in the woods. They did this well lit by living lamps so the woods could not creep too close as they made the trip. Down the path. Right at the fork. Right at the ravine. That's the wrong way. Right at the brook. Under the tree. Up the hill. Until they reached the pit and the rope. Here, they carried their package down to the bottom of the pit where all the old wicks lay. Ooh, jeez. The councilmen had been careful in how they laid them out. The pit only had so much room. It grew tighter every year. So it was with great care that they removed the wick from the sack, checked it for any remaining equipment, and then placed it carefully with its fellows. Stacked over one another, shoulder to shoulder, head to toe. At least they would have done so if wicks had toes. Which they didn't, of course. That would have been very foolish. Everything like that had been removed when the lamps were made. Every good councilman knew that. It was just good sense. Oh, wow. Well, that was also... I almost wish we would have been truthful first so that we could have, done it the other way, you know? Oh, man. That was good, though. I still really did enjoy it. Let's see. Replay from checkpoint. Because the only other decision we made was when we encountered... when we tried to lie, and then the knight went, you know, the correct way, according to the directions. And then we had to choose whether to go left at the swamp or right at the swamp, and I went left. Let's try going right. So replay from the checkpoint. We're gonna lie to the knight, because we're a good lamp. Alright, right above the ravine lied Good Wick. The knight stepped down into the crevasse and turned left. Once again, I'm gonna take a drink of water. Delicious. Hydrate or dihydrate. Alright. The rocky walls rose around them, tiny stones winked in the shadows, like eyes following them as they pressed deeper into the woods. How a lamp lies. In this way, Good Wick understood it could do its chosen task. Every time the knight stopped to ask for direction, the lamp told her the exact opposite of what the mayor had said. This was no easy task for a lamp. Repeating words it had heard previously was easy enough. It was just spitting out old digested information, much in the way it spat out smoke, but new words took a lot of energy. The lamp burned brighter with each lie it told, sucking in air to fuel and produce words as well as light, but over time it burned a bit lower as well. In this way they reached the river. In this way, they crossed the bridge. In this way, they found a line of ash trees, then the swamp, which lay at the bottom of a slope in the grove. The knight stopped at the edge. She raised the post high, her boots squelched in the mud. Good Wick's light flickered on the glassy, shallow puddles ahead, choked with mud and dead branches. There were many branches. This deep in the woods, the trees grew so thick that they blocked the sky. The stink of mud and decay blotted out even the smell of cinders and moss. Good Wick shivered. "All right," said the knight. "Where to from here?" Good Wick hesitated. It had burned through most of its remembered directions. The rest were crumbly and distant. It could see nothing to indicate the next path, just bubbles from the rising muck. "I could lead her to the center of the swamp," thought Good Wick, "where she will drown. I could lead her back to the ravine and off the edge," thought Good Wick, "and trap her in some deep pit." Some deep pit, indeed. But none of these seemed quite right to Good Wick, even though it understood the task ahead of it. This night wasn't a night. The town needed the lamp's protection. Why couldn't it remember the directions past the swamp? Surely there was something it could do. Surely there was something it could say. "We are going to go right at the swamp because we went left last time. Let's see if that makes a difference." So," said the knight, "this is the spot?" "No," said Good Wick, "a little further." "The beast? Is it the same thing?" Fun fact about beasts. Yeah, rude knights. I'm just gonna go through it because this is exactly the same. Let's see. Yeah. It's began to seep. We're flickering. We're dying a little bit. Was there another choice that we could make to, like, be truthful? Because that was the same. A wretched old bear. Yeah. Old dead bear. Oh. Well then where's the third ending then? Because there's only so many prompts. And those were the only choices that I recall because... Yeah, I can't really touch anything else. Let's see. And the only things that I can choose are the words that light up. Like, I can't even press anywhere else, so it's not like I missed something. Let's see. Continue to the town square, bronze basin, past the basin, make a right, square house, set of stairs, ignore the shouting men because they're not who you want, walk up the stairs. We're being very loud. And then we're back here. Fun fact I said about making lamps. It's not a fun fact. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Because we went left, we went right, we lied, we told the truth, and those are the only options. So, like, what did I miss along the way? The hint for the third ending was read between the lines. Right? Let's be honest and look between the lines at the end. Oh, God. I don't know. I mean, I didn't see anything. Be honest. I mean, I was honest. And then I wasn't honest. I still didn't see anything. Look between the lines at the end. Look between the lines at the end. I mean, honestly, I don't want to, like, click through all of that again, because it's at the beginning. Unless I can just go from the... No, I can't. Alright, well, I don't want to go through all that anyway. Warnings. Mutilation, disfiguration. Third hidden ending. Fuck! I want to get the third hidden ending, though. But I don't want to... I could just go back. Now we know how that came to pass. From the checkpoint. Be honest. Be honest. Well, I'm being honest by telling the truth. So let's just do this again. I'm not going to read all of this again, but I'm going to be paying very close attention to the surroundings. Read between the lines at the end. I mean, we're not at the end yet, but how a lamp lies when it is out of time. I gotta say, the vibe for this entire story is immaculate. I don't know how well, like, my immersion, my sense of immersion was showing through, like, me and my monotonous voice. But, like, bruh, I was full on, like, you ever read a good book, and you just sort of, like, you know, you become immersed in the book. And you're just... There is nothing outside of the world that you are being fed from the book that you're currently reading. Like, it was literally like that. It was very good. I like the vibe, I like the art. Very, you know, succinct in storytelling. I like the, repetition of certain sentences, sentence structures. That shit's great. Let's see. Because, like, I don't know, in theory, if I'm supposed to look between the lines, there will be something else that I can click. And I should just be able to, like, pick it if I do this number and kind of go through, or put my mouse all the way down the thing. I'll see what I can click, what I can't click, you know? Yeah, we get the helmet. Left at the river. We're not at a river. Dead lamps. Thorns. Let's see. Because there's nothing, like, really outside the frame either, because it's just like a, you know, just a frame. I have no hands. Now they'll see. Cross the bridge. There is no bridge. Stairway to the side of the hill. Alright, we're getting towards the end now. Stay ahead of me. I am a lamp. I need a helmet. Or not helmet. I already got a helmet. I'm sorry. I can't click on that at all. Alright, we're at the pit now. I can't let her go down there. I mean, what would she do if she was down there? It's just a bunch of bodies. Let's see. Or wait, let's go back, because that was curious. Maybe it wasn't curious. Maybe I'm just overthinking. My, what do we have here? My, indeed, what do we have here? I still can't click on anything new. Read between the lines. With my autistic brain. Let's see. I'm not seeing anything. I was honest, we went the wrong way. Read between the lines. I'm trying. I'm doing my best. They are bigger than you'd think. I do not know where to go next, ma'am. That's all one thing. You cannot. Come on, come on, come on. I don't see anything! Read between the lines. Where? What lines? There is but one. I mean, this is like, this is the end. This is the end, you know? Borrowed hands. Yeah, like, into the pit below. There's nothing else that's here. I don't know, am I blind? This meant something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, lamp disposal. At the bottom. Can't click anything else. Wait, stop. I'm not seeing shit. Move the grate in the base. There's nothing here. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Uh-huh, down the path. Right at the fork. Right at the ravine. Right at the brook. Under the tree. Up the hill. Until they reached the pit and the rope. Is that all one link? One button? Sure is. Where all the old wicks lay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. The councilmen would be careful how they laid them out. Grew tighter every year, which in itself is a very morbid thing to keep maintained. You know how it is. You gotta keep them all nice and tightly packed, just like Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading cards. With its fellows. Head to toe. If wicks had toes. Which they didn't, of course, you silly, silly person. Why would lamps have toes? It was just good sense. I don't see anything else on the whole browser. Good sense. Yeah, like, I don't know, man. I didn't see anything. All that clicking. And there were no choices in the beginning. Read between the lines at the end. I'm thinking too literally, dude. Like, I know I'm thinking too literally. I know I'm thinking too literally. I want the secret third ending. I want the secret third ending. This is not fair. I'm gonna Google it on my phone. Let's see, because I don't feel like messing with, like, browser sources and stuff. So, we're just gonna deal with this while I Google, let's see, a Good Wick game. Third route, hidden route, secret ending. No, that's like, that's Wick, like the shitty game, Wick, that I never finished playing. Here we go, found it. Let's see. Oh, this came out in 2016? That's honestly a whole lot more recent than I thought it was gonna be. Let's see, game details, blah, 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 blah. Yes. It's very good, very good. Just tell me where the ending is? Secret third ending? Path story, game details. Oh gosh. Are these just comments? Let's see. They are just comments. Let's go back then. Excuse you. Alright. Well, I would like to... because I can see when I click on it, on my search result, there's a hidden link somewhere that you can click. But, like, you know how Google results look, how it'll give you, like, text, but it won't show you all of the text, but it's relevant to what you searched. Like, I'm seeing that. There's a hidden link somewhere that you can click that continues the story from ... So I click on the link, and I can't find where that text is from. So let's see. Member reviews. Am I gonna have to read these reviews? Let me speed read real quick. Two choice. Oh yeah. Donde es? Clicking a hidden link continues the story from where a previous ending had stopped. So is it just like here? On the end? But it doesn't involve further choices. Clicking a hidden link continues the story from where a previous ending had stopped. Oh! It's a little diamond! Right here! Alright, full screen again, let's go! Look at that. Alright. Phone's going back down. Getting a drink of water, because I don't know how long this third ending is. Thank goodness for Google. Good Wick had been a good lamp. It had burned for 3 years. This meant something in Pyre on the Water, where they needed lamplight to survive. Even now it kept burning, although its grate was gone and its fires were dying. Oh boy. It had used the very last of its strength to set the beast ablaze, and the bottom of the pit was quite wet and damp. I was a Good Wick, said Good Wick. Why am I here? No answer. Good Wick lay among the other burnt-out lamps at the bottom of the pit, staring into their empty eyes. Christ. That's scary. I was going to be a reading lamp, said Good Wick. Why did the mayor send me off with the beast? They didn't look much like lamps anymore. Neither did Good Wick, still wrapped in the night's cast-off cloak, its flames little more than a line of smoke among the broken little bodies in the pit. Good Wick settled in the cloth, ready to burn out. Why did I do all of this? Why was I out there? Why did they throw me away? And what's more, Why are you still here? Because I've never been anywhere else. Oh boy. I can't click on anything else. Oh, there we go. That's not true, said Good Wick. You were on top of the hill. I set you on fire, then I fell down here. I was there, but I am here now. That's not true, said Good Wick. You're bigger than the pit. You couldn't fit. I saw it when you took off your cloak. Don't have to fit. Why's that? Because I've always been here. That's not right, said Good Wick. You were at the town. I saw you come in. You were dressed like a knight. I visited the town. I walked down the path. I am anywhere I want to be. As long as it's the wood. You know why, right? Because you're the beast. And what is a beast to the wood? Like the wick of a candle, realized Good Wick as he dimmed. Like me, or what I used to be. I don't think I'll be a wick much longer. So spit out that stupid cloth. Good Wick blinked. He had an oil-drenched piece of cloth in his mouth from when they'd made him. He'd forgotten all about it. He rolled over and spat it out. It sizzled and died in the wet earth. Good Wick stared at it for a long time. He'd been holding it so long he hadn't realized it wasn't a part of him. Hey, kid. What? You done? I think so. I mean, are you really done? No, he said. But that was the last of my wick. I'm out of things to burn. That's quitter talk. No, you're not. Look, me and the beast on the same page. The beast reached down with its long, thorny arms because a beast is the heart of the woods. And in the heart of the woods, there are no lack of things to burn. Eat. The fire ate the wood. The fire ate the rope. The fire ate the hill. The fire ran down through the thorny vines and over the downed tree. It ate up the brook. It ate the ridge. The fire ate up the old axe and the old signs. It ate up the grass, and it ate up the trees. The fire followed closely the directions it had been given, which burned hot in its roaring mind. Left at the divide. Straight on. There will be a wall, a gate, and a sign. Ignore the guardsmen. They will not hear you if you speak. Pass through the gate. Inside there will be many streets. Follow the main one. It will be lit by many lamps. Stop too. Should we? Don't bother, said the fire. Are you sure? Weak wicks. It's so much better just to burn. Continue to the town square. You will see an old bronze basin. Pass the basin. Make a slight right. There will be a large square house. There will be a set of stairs. Walk through the doors. Ignore the men who try to stop you. They do not have a sword like yours. Don't shout it's not raining anymore, said the fire to the guards. I can hear you all just fine. The fire waved happily because that's what you do when you've come home. Oh boy. At the end of the hall there will be an office. The doors will be locked. But they keep the key in the... The door was old and rotted. The lock was choked by moss and rust. The fire touched it and it fell away. The fire marveled at how easily it crumbled. Oh. I am strong now. Yeah. Who are you? Said the man, staring up over his desk, which was covered with pens and papers and a child's skull with a candle burned down almost to the wick. What do you want from us? You don't know who I am, said the fire, truly hurt. but I remembered everything you said. One more fact about the lamp. Ravi, gasped the mayor. How did you... The fire reached for his hand. He pulled back, he reached for a weapon, he waved, he shouted, and he started to cry. Oh, my poor boy, he cried over the smell of ash. I only did what I had to. You must forgive me. You must understand. It was for the town, Ravi. When the torch started to waver, well, we had to do something to help it. It was for everyone. We had to draw lots. We had to be fair. We all put in our best, Ravi. If we didn't, we'd all die. You didn't want that, right? You see, I had to. I had to. Ravi, please believe me. I believe you, Papa. Goodness gracious, I was not expecting that. The fire opened its arms and the mayor stepped into them. He stopped screaming after a while. So, where to? Here, said the fire, touching the desk. Here, said the fire, touching the windows. Here, said the fire, reaching out into the hall. Here. The fire, arms spread wide, danced into the town square. A fact about the town. In a junction where the roads met on a flat lake, there was once a town called Pyre on the Water, which experienced 1,000 nights and no daylight between. We say there was once a town called Pyre on the Water because no such town exists there now. It disappeared in a single night, leaving nothing but dust and bramble. And now we know how this came to pass. That was a fucking ending. That was good. The other ones were also good. That's fantastic. And I'm sure the other ending ends I don't know, if, you know, with the first one, how we walked up to him and, like, the knight just killed him, I'm sure it ends the same way, because there was also a candle and a child's skull on the desk, so I'm sure it just, you know, I'm sure we just become the fire again, or, like, the fire is lit, because dust and bramble, that's been that's been there since the beginning. So I'm sure either way, the town just burns down. I don't necessarily have to go through all of that again, because what's it going to be, like, maybe 5 lines of different reading? Excuse me. But anyway, that was fucking good. I did have a good time. That was good. I think I'm going to look into other games by Little Foolery Productions. Because that was cool. And it didn't put a lot of stress on my arms or anything, because it was just clicking and reading. So that's nice. This was a nice, like, break from tasks. 1.5 hour long break. From doing things that require the nerves in my arms. That was enjoyable. Yeah, I think... Oh, wait, no. F11 is to unfull screen. That was good. How do I... Whoops. That's not what I want. There we go. Publications. Oh gosh, I don't want to read all that nonsense. I'll read it later. Anyway, that was great. I keep saying it, but that was fucking cool, actually. I really enjoyed that. I don't know how much else to... or what much else to say. That was neat. Yeah, well... not really gonna bum around on stream much longer. I've already done all of my thinking, all of my talking, lots of exposition, lots of theories. I forget what my first theory was, or if I was right. I completely forgot, but I wasn't expecting children to be made into lamps, that's for sure. Or for, you know, the mayor's son to be the final lamp. That kind of sucks. But I'm glad that regardless, you get your identity back as a lamp. You kind of realize that you are not a lamp, you are a child. So that was neat. I like how it came back around to that in technically all 3 endings. I don't know, you come into your own in the second one. You know, you gain a body. You gain the ability to speak and all that. You just don't realize that you're a boy and not a lamp until the secret one. But anyway, whoever you are, Mr. Alex Singer, story by Alex Singer right here, like, you deserve a raise because that was a pretty well written story. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Illustrated by Jade, maybe? Ait Kasi. I'm probably butchering that. And Chiden Akar. All three of you did an excellent job. Congratulations on your very good game. Your very good visual novel game. I'm going to recommend this to people. But anyway, thank you for attending this wonderful, calm, visual novel Vitruvian doing nothing but reading for an hour and 37 minutes and 42 seconds stream. I had a good time. I hope you had a good time. I hope you found the story as enjoyable as I did. This will be going up on YouTube afterwards, as all of my streams do, just for, you know, continued watchability in the future. But thank you for coming here. Thank you for spending time with me, and I hope to see you in future streams. I think I'm going to stream something tomorrow, though I'm not sure what it is. And as for Saturday and Sunday and also Monday, I am busy, so I probably won't be streaming Saturday through Monday, but like, because I have company, but, you know, we'll see. Anyway, thank you for attending my stream. Hope to see you in future streams. Don't forget to follow me on social media at Vitruvian_Jay. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.